Welcome to The Edit with your host, Vivian Cole. Brought to you by Vogue Media Agency, the podcast where branding, visibility, and influence are curated with intention. Each week, we cut through the noise to explore strategy, storytelling, and what it really takes to build a brand that's seen, heard, and remembered.
Welcome to The Edit. I'm Vivian Cole. Today, we're editing podcasting. Not the act of recording, but podcast strategy as a tool for positioning, authority, and long-term brand growth. Podcasting is not about having something to say. It's about knowing why you're saying it, who you're saying it for, and what role the podcast plays in your larger brand ecosystem. Many podcasts start with excitement and good intentions, but without strategy, they fade quickly. Not because the host lacks insight, but because the purpose was never clearly defined. Podcasting without strategy becomes content for content's sake, and that rarely builds influence. Intentional podcasting begins with niche definition. Your niche is not your industry. It's your point of view within it. It's the specific lens through which you explore topics, the problems you choose to focus on, and the audience you commit to serving consistently. When a podcast tries to appeal to everyone, it becomes indistinct. When it speaks clearly to a defined audience, it becomes familiar. Familiarity builds trust, and trust is the foundation of authority. A strong niche answers 3 questions quickly. Who is this for? What is it about? And why should someone listen to this instead of something else? When those answers are clear, listeners don't just sample your show, they return to it. Voice development is the next critical layer. Voice is not about performance. It's not about sounding like other successful podcasters. It's about clarity, confidence, and consistency. Your voice is how your perspective comes through, and it's how your audience learns to recognize you even before you finish a sentence. An underdeveloped voice sounds uncertain or overly polished. An intentional voice sounds grounded. It doesn't rush, and it doesn't over-explain. It trusts the audience to stay with the conversation. Podcast coaching often focuses here because voice is where authority is either reinforced or undermined. Authority in audio is not created by volume or complexity. It's created by calm, clarity, and conviction. Format selection also plays a major role in podcast success. Not every format fits every brand. Some voices thrive in solo episodes, others are strongest in conversation. Some brands build authority through interviews, while others do so through teaching. The key is choosing a format that supports your strengths and aligns with your goals. When format and voice are aligned, recording becomes more natural. Episodes feel cohesive instead of forced, and consistency becomes easier because the structure supports creativity instead of draining it. Podcast strategy also considers longevity. A podcast designed only for launch often burns out quickly. A podcast designed for sustainability evolves naturally. That means planning content arcs instead of isolated episodes and understanding how episodes build on one another. Authority is built through repetition and depth. Podcasting allows you to explore ideas fully, revisit themes, and build familiarity over time. Authority doesn't come from one powerful episode. It comes from showing up consistently with a clear point of view. Audio creates intimacy in a way few other platforms can. Listeners hear tone, pauses, and emphasis. They build a relationship with the voice behind the message, and that relationship becomes trust. This is why podcasting is one of the most effective tools for authority building when done intentionally. It positions you not as a commentator, but as a guide. Now, let's talk about coaching. Podcast coaching is not about teaching someone how to talk. It's about helping them think strategically about what they're building. It's about refining message, structure, cadence, and confidence, so the podcast supports the brand instead of distracting from it. Coaching helps hosts move from sounding prepared to sounding intentional. It helps them develop rhythm and pacing that keeps listeners engaged without overwhelm. Most importantly, coaching reinforces that a podcast is not just content, it's positioning. Here's your reflection moment. If someone listened to 3 episodes of your podcast back to back, would they clearly understand what you stand for? Would your point of view be recognizable, and would your voice feel consistent and confident? If not, the strategy needs an edit, because successful podcasts are not built on frequency alone. They are built on clarity, alignment, and intention. That is the podcast strategy edit. You've been listening to The Edit, brought to you by Vogue Media Agency. To launch, refine, or elevate a podcast with purpose and authority, visit voguemedia.us. Until next time, edit with intention.
Thanks for listening to The Edit with Vivian Cole, brought to you by Vogue Media Agency. Be sure to subscribe for more insights, share this episode with your network, and join us next week for another conversation on building brands with clarity, confidence, and impact. Visit voguemedia.us.
Vogue Media Agency offers comprehensive services to help small to medium-sized businesses, faith-based and nonprofit organizations, content creators, and entrepreneurs establish and grow their online presence. Focusing on website design, landing pages, social media management, podcast training, branding, weblog creation, and public relations, Vogue Media Agency provides a convenient one-stop solution for clients looking to elevate their digital footprint. What sets us apart is our personalized service and niche expertise. We are your marketing consultants. Contact us today.
To contact Vogue Media Agency, call 212-470-2730 or visit voguemedia.us.